After finding out my wife lied to me about being a virgin, I slept with her friend. Remorse. We have been together for 4 years and married for 2. From our first date she interjected that she had never been with anyone else. This was on her own without a single word being prompted by me. At the time I also had never been with anyone else and shared this with her. However, at no point in time did I ever tell her or give her any reason to believe it would have been a deal breaker for me. So she had no reason to lie to begin with, but then really had no reason to continue the lie. We wait till our wedding night so it can be special for her to do the deed. About a month and a half ago it comes out that she lost her virginity 2 years before we were even together. Okay. Shocking, but I guess I can live with it. But no. Once the cat is out of the bag, she decides to come clean and tell me that not only was she not a virgin, but she had been with several different guys before we were married, and worst of all, one of them is a guy who she insisted that I be friends with, and she has made me go out with this guy and his girlfriend on dates. The thought of this one in particular pains me to no end. That being said, she decides after telling me all of this stuff that she feels great about herself because she felt like the burden of lying was no longer on her shoulders and she felt much better. I just sat there looking at her for a few minutes and her demeanor changed dramatically. She starts yelling at me and berating me for making her feel bad. In the span of about 3 minutes she called me a child, a wimp, a bastard, and many other things that I can't even remember. The entire time I just sat there taking it, and my only response to her was that I was sorry because this was all just so shocking to me. This leads to her throwing a plate at me that hit me in the head, causing me to have to get 3 stitches. Prior to that night we had never even raised our voices at each other. She was very remorseful about hitting me with the plate and did apologize as I was coming out of the emergency room. After I went home I had a splitting headache and went to bed. The next morning she is already awake wanting to know what I was going to do to get over this. I told her that I had no idea because to me there really isn't anything to get over other than I was irritated about her forcing me into hanging out with some guy who she has had sex with in the past. This type of conversation goes on for a week, and by the end of the week she is getting more and more irate every day. Due to stress and the constant fighting, I will admit to making this first mistake. After being told I was a freak because I was a virgin until my wedding night, I went into the bathroom and cried. Not very manly, I know, but everything was hitting me all at once. I did it in private and did not do it to provoke her. Well, she walked in on me and instead of asking me what was wrong or even, God forbid, consoling me when I am upset, she proceeds to get belligerent that I am making a big deal out of all of this. Now mind you, it is her that has started every single conversation about this. She tells me that she didn't tell me on purpose because she knew I would, and I quote, act like a little bitch about it. By this time virtually all of our friends are aware that she and I are fighting. I suspect several of them know why. I get a text from her friend Tara who wants to talk with me. She has me come to her apartment. She then proceeds to tell me that she feels like shit because she has known all along about her past, and she wanted to let me know that for the first year we were dating that my wife and her male friend that I had to be friends with continued to meet and see each other. In other words, the first year I am being told we had to wait to marriage she was having sex with this guy. I am not going to lie. This hit me hard. I mean really hard, and once again I started to tear up and I excused myself and started to leave, but Tara grabbed my hand and said that she didn't want me leaving or being by myself because of how emotional I was. She held me for almost a solid 5 minutes while I cried like a baby. I wish I would have left. It would have really made life much easier. But instead I stupidly kissed her, and much to my shock she kissed me back. We ended up having sex in her bed. I am now so conflicted I have no idea what to do. I am a cheating piece of shit and I hate myself for it. However, I am still so angry at my wife for the way she has treated me since all of this started. Tara is such a nice person, and I feel even more bad on top of being a cheating bastard that I also just took advantage of a wonderful person and used her in a way that I have never done with anyone before. To make matters worse, I think now I have feelings for her, and well, unless I am reading everything wrong, I think she does for me as well. My wife deserves to know, so I am going to have to tell her. I have really ducked up big time. You are in an abusive relationship. Why stay with this woman? She's awful. I'ma be real here, and bro, you're not in a happy place, but from what I can see I know this is one-sided. Your wife doesn't love you. She hasn't loved you. And more than likely she's the type of person who gets off on being the abuser. You shouldn't stand for the way you're being treated at home. Don't fret on what has already been done, but learn from it. So you slept with your wife's friend. Oh well. Did you like it? Do you feel a greater attraction to said friend? Your wife isn't the type to comfort someone who is in pain, however her friend is. Tell your wife you're leaving her, don't say for who though. You can tell her when you feel it's the right time. Remember, she led you to believe she was a good person. Obviously she's not. Don't give her the satisfaction of thinking she's ever been right about all of this. Good luck to you, man. Don't let your world get wrecked from the shit choices of others. Second story. My wife was s-ing with another guy. I caught her months ago. I am still hurting and having trust issues. I was using her phone as an alarm because the power was going on and off because of a storm, so I couldn't rely on my alarm. When I went to turn the alarm off, I accidentally clicked into her pictures. I noticed a couple pics of guys on there, which was out of the ordinary. She always had pics of rock stars, actors, whatever, but one caught my eye. I didn't recognize the guy and it looked very amateur. I checked the name of the pic and it said Sid, which on a BlackBerry means it is from a MMS. So I checked her messages and went to the bottom where the pic would be. BlackBerries keep MMS longer than SMS, so they end up near the bottom. I could tell she was deleting them, but I found another more lewd photo from her old friend. I wanted to know for sure what I was dealing with because there was no pics sent to him and the one she had saved was not there, so I had a hunch she was deleting things. So I checked the phone bill and sure enough the dates matched that she had emailed him several pics and he sent her several. So I woke her up and asked her what it was about and showed her the pic. I could tell she was going to attempt to lie about it cause she said that like it was no big deal. I pressed for the truth and she first said I don't know why he sent that. I didn't send him anything, so I told her I knew she was lying because of the bill, so she changed her story to I sent him one of me but I was clothed. After pushing more it was I sent him one of me in a bra, then it was topless. So I went to work pissed, telling her we would talk when I got home. I talked to her that night and she told me it was just that one time mistake and that she didn't talk to him after that because she felt guilty. A couple weeks before I found out. So I took it as that and she deleted him from her phone. The next day it all got the better of me and I had to do more snooping, so I asked to see her phone. She gave it to me willingly. I already knew she had deleted almost everything from him, so I don't what I was expecting to find, but I saw where she texted her sister that I had caught her and she didn't want me to leave her and all that, which made it click. Her sister knew. So I did a search of the texts for texts with her sister and found a ton. After scanning through them I found some that mentioned it. My wife was talking to her sister about not knowing whether she wanted me or this guy and that she didn't want to hurt me if she chose him and that she would have hurt me for nothing if it didn't work out with him, and then the most ironic of all was that one of her concerns about the other guy was whether he would cheat on her or not, and that she knew I would never cheat on her. All the while cheating on me. Like it was okay for her to cheat on me, but she didn't want someone to cheat on her. After finding this I confronted her. Again. Telling her that I want all her passwords for her email, Facebook, MySpace, whatever. So the next day I continued to snoop. The most painful thing of all is what I found. She had messaged him on Facebook literally the day before I caught her when she said she wasn't talking to him anymore, saying in the beginning she just wanted to be friends and angry that wasn't good enough for him. But by the end of the message she said she loved him and always will and that she wanted to be with him. I was so confused. She swore to me that coming so close to losing me made her realize that she didn't really love him, and after a lot of counseling we came to the realization as to what may have been the cause. We didn't spend enough time together. We would be in the same room but never talk. She would be sewing or on the computer. I would be playing video games or reading, and we never communicated and never spent real time together. After realizing this we set out to spend more time just being with each other. Talking, cuddling, whatever. This helped a lot. The whole relationship just felt more right. She deleted all her guy friends from her phone unless they were someone I knew very well personally and trusted them. She did the same with Facebook. She wrote down all the numbers in her contacts so I could check the numbers on the bill occasionally. She had her number changed so the guy couldn't get a hold of her and blocked him on Facebook. Things feel smoother and easier now after 5 months, but it is still hard. I still check her Facebook and email and phone a lot and check the bill for anything suspicious. I still want to know exactly where she is going and who she'll be with when she leaves. It is still hard, but I really feel like 1. We can get through it, and 2. She is worth the struggle to make it work. Well, that's the story. Any feedback or words to help? Advice maybe. Third story. So, caught my wife cheating. She says she's sorry. I am gonna make sure I break her heart even more. No regrets. Rant no regrets after almost 4 years of marriage. Together 7. I was the happiest man in the world. Have the perfect job. Things are looking up. Don't work much. But then I found out my wife, whom I married and got her green card, was having depression issues, confiding in shitty friends, and she had a 6-month affair with her friend's brother, whom she would hang out and he would pop in. I found out about it. All hell breaks loose. Kick her out the next day. Then I feel bad for her. She has no support from her family whatsoever, so I let her move back in. She wants to work things out and move forward. But I feel so disrespected, used, stupid, gullible, etc., etc. I thought we were good together. And yes, I understand no marriage is perfect. But man, whatever she was going through was peanuts. Or so I think, in my opinion. I always focused on the positive and improving our marriage, while she would focus on little things and blow it out of proportion. For example, I am a basic meat and veggies and fruits kind of guy. So when I duck into the store to pick up food, in and out. This would turn into her getting upset I didn't get everything on the list while I explained to her I just ducked into the store on my way home. What hurts more is I promised her that when we got married I would take her everywhere I go. And I did. I took her to Japan, twice, Canada, a couple of road trips, Mexico, etc. Got her what she needed. All I can say is that luckily I didn't go broke doing this for her, as I am pretty good at saving money and making it if I need more. Either way, we are trying to work things out, and she has been doing things to me that I could never imagine her doing actually. And man, she has sort of turned into my actual love slave trying to make things work. Also, I caught sending this guy pictures of her. Nothing X-rated, but something no husband wants to know her wife is sending pics. I have these pictures collected, along with the now X-rated ones she has been sending me, to prove to me she is willing to give me more. I am collecting all this and the videos even though I told her I would delete them. Not because I want to send them out on the net, but because I know the inevitable. I will not be able to get over the shame and disrespect. I gave her everything I could, and more, and this is the way she treats me. Sounds petty, I know, but I want her to know what I have. So somewhere, in the back of her mind, she should be worried what I will do with the pictures once the divorce is final. Of course, I will keep them as a memento. Life will go on for me. No assets. My credit cards are paid off, no shared bills. Only one car payment that I will let her keep, and she does pay off consistently. I am going to lead her on. I want to work things out, then go through the divorce. In the meantime, I am collecting big time on actual favors. More BJs, swallowing, annul, role-playing, pictures, etc., etc. My ultimate goal though is to get her to agree to a threesome. MFM. Before it is all said and done, I want her to know she got used the way she used me. Long story short, married my wife. She got her green card. I gave her everything. She cheated on me. I am pissed. Fourth story. I am happily married. I've been having X with Prosty. I have a very happy marriage. Unfortunately, it's rather sexless. I am not sure why. I find my wife beautiful and SI, but her X drive is just not there at all. This is a problem because I am very sexual. During a solo trip abroad, I had a girl sent up to my room. She blew me and I ducked her for a little, but I just couldn't get into it despite her being really hot. A blonde Asian girl with C cups and a waxed kitten. The next night I got another girl, who was tall and thin and very young, probably 19. I had the best X in years. This stopped when I got back home. But my marriage, while happy and romantic, was still sexless. I got a happy ending massage one night, about 1.5 years after the ex-worker. It felt so good I actually shot cum onto my masseuse, who liked it. A few months later I went again, but it was disappointing. I wanted more. I know a girl who used to do fetish adult videos and now deals, arranges bachelor parties, and pimps a little. Since she trusts me, I get access to some very hot girls who turn tricks occasionally with clean, wealthy, sane guys. Apparently I fit the bill. Same pattern emerges. I met the first girl after work at a sleazy hotel. I had drinks and some appetizers with her while my friend set up the room. She's local, Caucasian, probably 23, with great natural OO. She's a stripper. It was supposed to be a three-way, but I am not attracted to my friend. So I spent most of the hour eating this girl out, making her come over and over. I didn't duck her, but she was so turned on she let me come on her face. I nearly blinded her. My friend, she never lets anyone do that. So she felt very comfortable with me. A few weeks later, I met her other friend. This Jamaican Irish girl who is straight up an 11-10. Unbelievable. I got a nicer room this time. We chatted, drank. I was a bit blazed. She deep throats, and spits on my duck. Generally goes all Pawn Star on me. I ducked her a little bit, but weirdly lost interest. We ended up talking. Turns out we both have had a lot interest in Hinduism, and spoke at length about our experiences. We made out for a while, and then I went home. Reddit. I don't give a shit what you think about this. I honestly don't. Just want to put this in words. I don't get much out of the Prosty. I am working on getting the sexual spark in my marriage. Weirdly, these experiences make me resent my wife less, while affirming that random X with strangers is, as it was before, fun, exciting, but not very rewarding or memorable. Hottest X I've ever had was when dating my wife. I think in the future, I might continue seeing the Jamaican girl. Edit. It's kind of crazy that, if I write honestly about myself, it sounds like this. If you knew me you would never guess I run in these circles. Edit 2. Notice the deleted posts were by a throwaway note an evilman. He deleted his account after I told him that, in his comment history, he committed a felony. Guy throws all manner of judgment at me, but all the while has been advising an admitted child adult videos collector on how to wipe away the evidence. Ducking douchebag. Dig into the thread, starting with, are you going to continue cheating on your wife, to see what I am talking about. I would never cheat on my wife, not a judgment against you. Just a statement about our marriage. But if I was in your shoes it would eat me alive to spend all that money on call girls. I would think a divorce and finding someone who meets your sexual requirements would be a whole lot cheaper. But then again, I am a total cheapskate. Does this aspect of your situation ever bother you? 6. Yes, I have ample funds, but I'd rather be spending it on my wife or saving it for our future. It's not that expensive. actually, but it still bothers me. Fifth story. I am a bisexual woman. I've been married in a union with my wife for nearly 20 years now. I have been using male prosty to satisfy my estradiol urges for men for nearly our entire marriage. Conflicted. Even though technically we only legally got married recently due to the laws, we considered ourselves married since we had our marriage in 1999. Again, not a legal marriage, but we still had a ceremony and everything. I love her, I really do. I am bisexual and have always had a preference for women over men, especially in relationships. But that doesn't mean I don't also enjoy sex with men. Sometimes my bisexuality can go from one side to the other, where I am far more sexually interested in men than women and vice versa. She knows this, but it's sort of an unspoken thing. She has caught me looking at adult videos specifically of men, and I feel like it hurts her feelings. Pretty much since the beginning of our marriage, I have been using male prosty. I used to work at a bar which had prosty work there a lot, picking up guys. I contacted some of them and asked if they knew any male prosty. I hadn't had sex with a man since 1996, before I met my wife. This was 2001, so it had been 5 years. I felt so horribly desperate for it. We met in a hotel. The guy was really nice about it. He said he was bisexual too. He mostly had sex with other men for his job, and that it can be a struggle for bisexual people in long-term relationships to fully be satisfied. I came harder with him in the hotel room than I had with my wife in years. The feeling of real penetration. His hairy, muscular body. His masculine face and beard. His strong arms wrapped around me. It was something I had missed in my estradiol life so much. I had only done lesbian sex for so many years. Of course, we used protection. That should be a given. He also carries his STD test papers around, which is apparently something that a lot of male prosty do. He was clean. I would do this. Meet up with male prosty. Maybe once every 3-4 months. Sometimes longer. For the next 20 years almost. She never found out. It has always just been something that I have needed in my life. I get it's cheating. I fully understand. But for heterosexual couples, they have each other. When I need to satisfy my urge for men, she can't do that. I get STD tested relatively often. Of course I keep it a secret from her. She has never known. She wouldn't leave me if I did it. She has talked about the idea before, saying that if I wanted to I could sleep with men. She literally mentioned the exact same idea that I did ask one of those prosty who worked at your bar if they know anyone. But she seemed hurt by it regardless. I felt it was better for both of us if I did it, but never told her. She doesn't need to have those thoughts in her head of me getting ducked by a man. Even if she fully understands why and accepts it, she doesn't need to know. She can still allow it and accept it and still be hurt by it. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.